Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of How to Homeschool in High School. Today's topic is all about the fear of missing out. Many people believe that when you begin homeschooling, your opportunities are severely limited, when in reality, we're opened up to a whole new world of opportunities. And today we're going to dive deep into exploring those. And I have with me my sister Tessa.
Hi.
And she is she's in 8th grade and she's a rising high schooler. So we're kind of breaking our high school thing here, but I think it's an exception that I will make for you, especially because you're almost
I am
in high
your
school.
sister.
Yes, you are my sister. All right, so we'll start out with your homeschooling journey. How long have you been homeschooled, and what are your thoughts on homeschooling?
Okay, so I've been homeschooling for 7 years. We started homeschooling by attending a co-op.
First, you were public schooled.
First, I was public schooled until 2nd grade, and then until you were in 5th grade.
Mm-hmm.
And then we switched to a co-op, Christian co-op, that our friends were starting. And so we thought there was only going to be like 5 people in it, but there ended up being like 50.
That was a lot.
There's a lot of kids. So we did that for 2 years until my last year was in 3rd grade. And then we moved, that was when we were in Florida, and then we moved up here to Pennsylvania, and we just wanted to, God was calling my mom to do her own thing and just homeschool us.
Homeschool us completely.
Mm-hmm. By herself, which was a scary thing to do, but it ended up paying off. Mm-hmm. And so I was in 4th grade then, and I had a really hard time, like, thinking of my mom as a teacher because, I kept fighting over test scores or whatever. I just got so frustrated because it's like your mom, it's not some random person that's teaching you something that you want to be nice to. Mm-hmm. It's your mom, which obviously sounds bad.
But I mean, it makes sense though, because you never think of
it's hard to think of mom as a teacher.
Yeah,
especially when you're not used to it before, and you were older, so it was easier for you. But so that took 2 years or something to get over.
To get used to it, yeah.
To get used to it, yeah.
All right, so now we're going to dive right into our topic, which is, again, the fear of missing out. So I just decided to start out by asking you, have you ever questioned missing out an opportunity in public school over your homeschooling years?
I don't think so. I mean, there's so many more things that you can do with homeschooling because, you can go to museums in the middle of the day. You can get ice cream in the middle of the day. If you have an activity like a sport or something, you can
do that in the middle of the day.
I sometimes, if I'll bake, I'll make bread, and first thing in the morning before I start my schoolwork. Mm-hmm. There's so many liberties that you have with homeschooling.
And then, would you say that you're missing out on anything?
No. I don't think I'm missing out on anything.
All right, so I thought we would just discuss some of the common things off of that you feel like you're not missing anything. I wrote down a few of the most missed, in quotation marks, things that a lot of people feel like they're going to miss out on. We'll start with the biggest one, which is sports. When did we start doing sports? Was it last year? It was last year.
Well, yeah, we did sports when we were in our co-op. We did basketball and volleyball, and you did swimming.
We did that through the YMCA.
Yeah. So, you can do sports.
Through the YMCA.
Mm-hmm. We're very blessed to have a huge Christian homeschool sports organization.
Yeah, near us.
So we, at least I, in this past year, participated in track and soccer, and Nadine also did track and field.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the second one I'm going to talk about is dances. So I would think prom, homecoming. Is there something called a snowball dance? I think
whatever, yeah.
Something like that. I don't know. And a lot of co-ops do proms. So if you're concerned about missing out on a prom,
which I am not, I could care less about that. But yeah,
if you're concerned though, a lot of local co-ops do proms. I think ours in Florida did. We just weren't old enough to go. And then what else? Oh, we have a lot of local dances that we go to, such as Regency dances,
Regency balls. Yeah,
Regency balls. We had a really fun literary ball when we all dressed up as literary characters. But we did Regency dancing there, swing dances,
ballroom dancing.
Yep. So we, with our local homeschool group, so we're not part of a co-op. We're part of a group that just kind of every once in a while we'll have an event to bring all the local homeschoolers together to have like fun with the friends and do something cool. And then we'll do dances.
Our homeschooling community also does like this teen event every month. So it could be like a board game or a movie night or something else, like something at a museum. We usually don't attend those, but a lot of homeschoolers do.
Okay, so the third thing to talk about is graduation. I know, Tessa, you haven't really experienced this per se, but we have gone to graduations before. Homeschool graduations. There's a few ways people do this. One is your co-op. Again, if you're part of a co-op, they will do a graduation ceremony. Or if you're part of a homeschooling group, sometimes they can do graduation ceremonies. But the one we went to recently was done privately. It was just just friends and family that came, and then they had her walk down the aisle. It was really cool, and the parents presented their diploma. It was really fun. I think that would be the way that I would want it to be done.
We would probably do
that's
that way.
also very, very possible too. There's nothing to miss out on that, especially because you can have all your really close friends and family there, which is pretty much.
And then also you could do a graduation party with your friend too, if they're graduating with you.
So there's that too, graduation completed. And also, yes, you can get diplomas and everything through homeschooling as well, and you can actually get them and handed to you and everything. Pretty awesome. Upper level classes. So I'm thinking AP exam classes and just like those really intense classes that you can get, or like advanced classes. So I would talk to you about this. You're in advanced math currently, but that's extremely possible with homeschooling, right? You just literally skip over math that you already know, or if you're really good at writing, you could just skip ahead.
I skipped a level in math just because it was pretty much from your experience repeating.
As well as if you're worried, like say AP courses, those you can always take through your local college or community college. That's what I'm doing currently, dual enrollment, and we're going to dive into that deeper in the next few weeks, I believe, and that's a really cool opportunity.
Yeah, and also like if you're really interested in, like you are really interested in math, like engineering degree, so math and science, and so you spend most of your time on math and science.
You can customize it. It's very liberating, very freeing. Probably.
One thing I just thought of back to where you were asking me if you ever thought like, what's the question? Like,
you missing out or anything?
Yeah, I think one thing about that is it's a lot easier that way because the public school offers a lot, like music lessons and like every music class and then sports,
physical education class.
Homeschooling, it takes more effort to find the gems in there. So
it's trial and error too. You can try something and you'll be like, no, that's not for me at all.
Yeah.
Or that's not going to work out. And then you find things, like you said, you find the gems and you're like, wow, that was really worth it. That was worth the seeking for it. Oh, that's true. So the last point I have is socialization, which if you were, I'm just curious, if you had to define it, what would you say that it meant?
In my brain, I always thought it meant like talking to people, like
being able to talk
being
with people.
able to just like hang out with your friend.
With socialization, people think that homeschoolers like are in their house all day by themselves and they don't get to talk to people.
At a book that they don't understand, like
something like that.
Stereotypes.
So socialization is like being able to function in society properly and acceptably, like being able to have social skills. If you were to speak to that, what would you say? Would you say we're missing out?
It's all a lie.
It's all a lie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't need that drama in my life.
No.
Like all the socialization you're getting, you don't want.
No. You can, with homeschooling, you can purposely choose to spend time maybe with the elderly or someone you really admire or friends that you're really close to and you want to become like. So we surround ourselves with like Christian girls who are amazing.
Yeah,
because we want to be like them.
Not one of my friends.
There's no drama really.
There's never drama. You never have to like
explain
fake.
Yourself.
Yeah,
be fake.
Like you can just be yourself and everybody accepts you for who you are. Really, like just amazing. I never thought there was such a thing as that until we moved up here.
So there, we have now completed our list of commonly concerning things that maybe missed out when you're homeschooling, or quotation marks missed.
Yeah.
And speak to this, it's not going to be the same as public schooling. It's going to be different. Like it's a different vibe.
Like
with
you
our
don't
sports.
get to talk to your friends at lunch.
No, you just
that could be one thing that you're missing out on as a homeschooler.
Like just being able to talk to your friends all day. Like we have each other. That's pretty much.
Yeah, if you're an only child, it might be a little harder, but.
And that's when you would reach out to maybe a co-op,
Yeah.
or you just heavily invest in some outreaching. Like we talked to Naomi last week, she said service. Service is an amazing opportunity that we have as homeschoolers. And also another opportunity is working. Like you can get a job somewhere. You can volunteer somewhere on a more regular basis, and your schedule's a little more open. You can determine what you want to do, what you don't want to do.
Yeah, one of my friends, she doesn't really have any other she goes to a co-op. She doesn't have any like activities that she does after school except for track. So
that's
she
only
just
in the spring.
Yeah, that's only in the spring. So she just got a job, and so that's
and she's like your age. Well, she's a little older than you.
Like a year older.
To you, Tessa, if you had to say what are some of the greatest opportunities that you specifically have been given over the last 7 years that you can think of? So you already spoke to this earlier, but you said that you were able to find some really good friends and build some really good friendships. That's something that you have been given the opportunity to do through homeschooling. Do you have anything else you want to add?
I've also been able to spend like a lot of time doing what I love, like going to the barn where our horses are at, spending a lot of time there.
Baking.
I also, I bake a lot. I love baking. I also participate. I do piano and violin, so I can spend time with that. And I do like kind of a...
You compete in piano.
I kind of, it's kind of a competition, but it's not really. It's like judges judge you on how well you know your piece, pretty much. Like once or twice a year, depends on
violin and piano.
So I'm able to participate in that, which I probably wouldn't be able to.
Yeah, in the full extent that you're able to, And then you might be joining orchestra next year.
Yeah, I might
pretty cool.
Participate in a youth orchestra, which I have to try out for, which again I would probably never be able to do if I was in public school because of the schedule and everything else I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I also do a kind of like a scout, a Girl Scout, but it's not girls. It's like a Christian Girl Scout.
Yeah, true. It's called American Heritage Girls.
Yeah.
HG.
It's amazing.
It's incredible.
I also spend time preparing since I'm in the upper level. It requires a lot more work. Like,
we have an event this week that I need to do some work on. But it's a really awesome opportunity, especially a lot of our homeschool group is plugged into that resource because we gather every week. We have projects we need to do. It's like you get that group interaction, because that is also one thing that is, if we're going to speak on what's lacking, that you can seem to miss out on, is the group like, what would you call it? Group projects. And that's something we get through HG. We get a lot of group work.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, like, again, it took trial and error to find all of those things.
But I truly believe that there are these things everywhere. You have a homeschool community, you will find these things. And also, if you meet your homeschooling group, ask them what they do. Like, that's how we were able to find a lot of these things, is we just asked people. We asked them, like, what do you do for this? Oh, we go to this, like, we have a swim and gym where we go to the YMCA and swim.
Yeah, that's another really awesome
gym
thing.
And they're like, yeah, we do this for our physical education. Or say, HG is a great resource to get together with friends
every week.
So yeah, there's a lot of people can help you
projects.
too. Yeah, especially if you're in a co-op, you can have those people around you to point you in the right direction and show you what to use and everything. So in summary, I would think we gain more than we lose if we're homeschooling. We gain a lot more.
You might think that you're losing a lot with public school, but instead it just opens up so many more opportunities that you can
truly pursue your passions.
You can become like whoever God made you to be, instead of just doing what everybody else thinks is trendy or like cool. Like, and just following the trends. Just get out of the trends.
This episode was all about fear of missing out. And just to wrap it up,
you shouldn't be afraid of.
No fear in missing out. To wrap it up, we talked about the common fears of missing out as a homeschooler. So sports, dances, graduations, intense upper level classes, socialization, among other things. And we also talked about why that's mostly a commonly believed lie and a stereotype when it's surrounding homeschooling. And how you can really take advantage of the opportunities given to you as a homeschooler and pursue your passions at a deeper level. As promised, I mentioned last week that we would be taking questions and talking about them. So we have a question today. I thought it would be fun to just start with this question because it is a fun question.
Yeah, stereotypes.
And I want on the topic of stereotypes. And I wanted to hear what you have to say about this. Question is, aren't homeschoolers weird? Don't you ever meet someone who's just like, you can tell by the way they talk to you, kind of think you're a little weird because you're homeschooling. You're like, oh, you're homeschooling.
Wow, that's amazing.
Awesome. So what would you say to that, Tess? Aren't homeschoolers weird?
I would say that there are weird people in the world.
Yes, there are.
So, like, odd people, I'd like...
Yeah, that's all we need to say.
That's all I had to say. And so, among those people, sometimes they can be homeschoolers, sometimes they can be public schoolers. And so, on top of that, I would say no, homeschoolers are not weird most of the time.
Most of the time.
Yeah, well...
I think we're all a little weird, though, just because we do something so different.
I think we all have our own definitions of weird, too.
Yeah.
And so, this is according to the Oxford...
Dictionary?
To Merriam-Webster.
Yeah, there you go.
The meaning of weird is of strange or extraordinary character. Homeschoolers are of extraordinary character, so yes, in that sense,
we are weird.
And we're off the pattern of the world. Like, we're off the path of the world.
Mm-hmm. So we concluded that homeschoolers are weird, but in a good way.
In the extraordinary character way.
Yes, we are
not
extraordinarily characteristic. No.
Not in your definition of weird.
Yeah. So if you know a homeschooler, you should really get to know them because they're pretty awesomely weird. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Please email me your questions. We can talk more about weird homeschooling stuff.
We need more questions.
And then next week we'll be having another interview, and I'm really excited about that interview. So stay tuned next week for that. And thank you so much, Tessa, for being on the podcast and sharing your thoughts. Some deep thoughts there. Yeah.
I live here, so I'm always here.
She will definitely be back.
Always up for an interview.
He will be back, Tessa.
Make sure you send in those questions.
Send in questions, and we'll see y'all next week. Bye.